What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is your bro Benzo back with another LSPDFR step-by-step install tutorial for the year 2020. And if anything changes in the future with the install process, I'll be sure to drop a brand new video out for you guys. But this video here should last for a long time with all future LSPDFR patches. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, if this video helped you in any way, please drop a like down below and comment and subscribe if you're new. First step is to find your local game directory that Grand Theft Auto 5 is installed to. Now, before you do that, make sure you are logged into Steam so that way it can connect to Social Club properly. And we're going to go ahead and find our actual Grand Theft Auto 5 game. So we're going to load up Steam right here. We're going to go to the library. And I've got a lot of games installed, so forgive me with all the cluster here. And if you want to find your local game directory really easy, just go to Grand Theft Auto 5. You're going to right click. You're going to go to Properties. You're going to go to Local Files, and then you're going to go Browse Local Files. Now, I have my game installed on the G drive, but your game is probably going to be installed on a C drive, more than likely as a default. I'm going to put the actual install pathway for both Steam users and retail users up on your screen right now. That is called the install pathway of where your actual Grand Theft Auto 5 folder is. That is also called the main game directory. Okay, the next step is to download the Rockstar game launcher. That's something they just implemented last year in 2019. We must have the Rockstar game launcher, unfortunately, to launch Rockstar type of games. So what we're going to do is go to the main game directory. You should have a folder called Installers. If you double click that, you should see a Rockstar Games launcher in the particular folder. If it's not there, don't panic. I've got a link for you down in the description. You can always download it from there and then launch it, what we're about to do. So we're going to go ahead and launch this from here. We're going to select yes. We're going to keep it in English. Continue. This is everything that's going to be installed right here. We're going to continue here. And you can read the license agreement if you'd like. Continue here. Okay, the default pathway is perfectly fine. Just remember where you install it to. We're going to go ahead and continue. Okay, we're going to go ahead and run Rockstar Games Launcher when we close this. So we're going to leave that box checked there. We're going to close this out. Okay, you can see that's updating here. We're going to go ahead and select yes to this. And you can see it's installing prerequisite Rockstar Games Social Club. That's why it's real important to make sure you're connected to Steam. Okay, it looks like the Rockstar Game Launcher has installed correctly. And so the next thing you need to do is actually play the game until you get to a proper save point. I get a lot of messages through my channel and whatnot asking why they can't load into LSPDFR. So if you're just now installing everything for the very first time and you haven't played the game, or maybe you did play the game but you don't have a proper save point, you have to play the story mode first. So my advice is play the story mode until you get to maybe Franklin's house. And then once you get inside Franklin's house, what you want to do then is pull up your trusty old cell phone and then actually do a quick save. Once you do that, then that way the game has a proper load point, and then that way you can load into LSPDFR at that particular spot if you need to. And then we're going to download LSPDFR. Okay, we are on the LSPDFR.com site, and you notice that this is 0.4.6. Don't worry about it, guys. If you're watching this video several months from now, we're in January 2020. If this is a later patch, this video will still work for you. The only time I'm going to make a brand new video for you guys is if the install process is completely different. Okay, so I don't need comments down below asking if this is still good for 0.5 or 0.6 or something like that. One of the important things to note is that sometimes LSPDFR will be flagged by your Windows 10 system to be a virus. So if you have, for some reason, you're downloading this and it's being flagged, you need to probably turn it off, or you need to whitelist it. If you don't know how to do that, be sure to do a Google on how to turn it off. And if you don't know how to whitelist it, make sure you do a Google on how to whitelist LSPDFR. But for me, it doesn't seem to do that. So we're going to go ahead and download this. And they also encourage you to install this particular game on a clean version, not a bunch of mods in there, but that's okay. If you do have a lot of mods, don't worry about it. I mean, I have never had a problem, to be honest. So we're going to download this. Okay, so you notice it's going to install Rage Hook as well, which is very nice. And select agree and download. Okay, since this is more of a step-by-step tutorial, I'm not going to even go through the manual install this time. We're going to actually go through the auto install to make it really easy for you guys. So we're going to download this. Okay, the next step is we're going to download ScriptHook. So we're going to go to the ScriptHook site right here. And the only time that this may become invalid is if GTA 5 updates their game, then ScriptHook may not work for you guys. And there's nothing I can really do about that. And so I'll give you the link to ScriptHook. And then if they do have an update, usually ScriptHook takes about 1 week to actually update that particular software. So you have to kind of be patient, but I'll always have the link down in the description for you guys. So we're going to go ahead and download this as well. Okay, so if you notice on my desktop, we have the auto installer for LSPDFR, and we have ScriptHook, really easy. So we're going to go ahead and fire up the auto installer, and we're going to go ahead and say yes to this. We're going to select this in English, and then we're going to go ahead and go through next. Go ahead and read the license agreement if you'd like. We're going to click on OK and agree. Notice that it's going to install LSPDFR as well as an uninstaller if you decide to uninstall this game. We're going to go ahead and click on this. And then it should automatically find your default pathway where you have the game installed. Don't count on that. So if you have this installed on a different drive, pay real close attention to this. Mine just happens to be installed exactly correctly. So LSPDFR managed to find it pretty easy. Yours may be installed on a completely different drive, a different pathway, and just follow the very first of the video where I showed you how to locate your local game directory. And then we're going to go ahead and make sure that's correct and install it right there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and make sure that's checked off. We'll go ahead and do finish. And since we're going a step by step, we're going to go ahead and go through this. Go to next. And then we want to accept Rage plugin hook license. Show license is fine. So just read the disclaimer. Click on accept. The next step is where it says change settings. We recommend disabling the version text rendering and setting all plugins to load at startup. That's really important to do that, especially if you're installing plugins in the future. And the next video is going to be about installing plugins. So be sure to look out for the very next video to come. We're going to go ahead and say do it for me. And then it says LSPDFR has been installed successfully. So what we want to do now is pull up our main game directory. We'll be installing ScriptHook. You can get this in the link in the description. We're going to get our main game directory right here. We're going to open up the bin folder. We're going to select all these files, deselect native trainer. Really don't need that. We're going to literally drag these right into our main game directory, right into the white. So it's going to go like this. It's going to put it right there. And then ScriptHook is now installed. So my advice is to get into your main game directory, just like this, and find your Rage plugin hook, just like this. You're going to right click and then send this straight to your desktop. That way you can launch it properly. And we got it right here. So we're going to go through the install, what Rage Hook should look like. I'll show you a few tips with that. We're going to go ahead. Now you could also right click and launch this as administrator if you like, but most Windows 10 users, it'll probably launch sort of like as an administrator anyway. So we're going to go ahead and just double click. So this is where the main Rage plugin menu looks like. To get to this particular screen again, you're going to double click Rage, the Rage plugin hook icon right here. You're going to hold the shift key for about 2 to 5 seconds and you can always get back to this menu. This is the general menu. You can change the console key if you like. I like mine as F4. Now this is important to note. If you're on a low-end PC and you have a lot of plugins installed, you might want to change your plugin timeout threshold to a little bit more than 10,000 if you're having trouble loading into the game and not getting your plugins loaded properly, or if it's taking really a long time and then your game times out and then it just maybe crashes on you or something like that. Mine's set to 10,000. I have a higher style in PC, but even mid-level, you can leave it like this. If you're on a low level, You might want to change this a little bit higher. No more than 60,000. It won't let you go over that. Plugins. Notice right here it says load these plugins on startup. That'll always be checked off, but if you install a bunch of plugins, my advice is to go to load all plugins in startup. You could do that, and then you can always save and launch your game. For now, we just have LSPDFR installed. Don't worry about advanced settings. Now, game settings, this is where some pro tips are going to come in. So go to game settings. Okay, for some quick pro tips from Benzo, what you want to do is go to backup game version right at the very bottom right here. Click on that and backup current game version. That's really important. Make sure you do that in case for some reason GTA 5 decides to update their game like they do almost every other month for online crap. So my advice to you is go ahead and back up this particular update folder, and that's what it does really when it backs up your game. It doesn't back up the entire folder. It only backs up just mainly your update core folder, so that way you can go back and revert your game if you need to. That way you could continue to play whenever Grand Theft Auto 5 does their stupid upgrades. So the next step is for people that are having trouble launching the game, if they're stuck in the endless black screen, or if it's just not launching properly, what you can do is go to, once again, game settings, go to command line switches, and then go down to you see force Windows mode. Now it does not mean that you have to play in Windows mode permanently, but it does allow you to launch the game a little more effectively if you're not able to launch it in the first place. So if you go to force Windows mode and then save and launch, you'll get into the game, and then you can actually change the settings back to full screen mode. So that's my pro tip to you guys. Okay, now that LSPDFR is installed, all you have to do is go to your desktop and you can either double click the Rage plugin hook exe file, or you can also right click and launch as administrator. Sometimes that does help the game to launch a little bit more effectively. Now please note it does take several seconds to fire up the Rockstar launcher, and you may see a little bit of a black screen for a second, and then you'll see this kind of a loading screen for the Rockstar launcher, and then eventually it'll start to load into the game, and that's a good sign that it's trying to load LSPDFR. And then also important to note, even on a high-end PC like mine, by the way, my computer specs are in the description down below in this video, and then it does take several, sometimes even a couple of minutes to start to get the actual floating text, and then it's got to populate the game world, loading story mode, and then eventually you'll see the LSPDFR being loaded into the game. Now remember, we only have LSPDFR loaded, so the more plugins you have loaded into this game, it does take even longer to load. So you got to be patient, got to give it some time to actually load that. Now, like I said, mine's a high-end PC. Mine usually takes about a minute and a half, 2 minutes to actually load into the game. If I have a lot of plugins installed, it does take even a little bit longer than that. And my advice to you guys is if it takes longer than say 5 minutes to load into the game, something may be trying to block the LSPDFR without actually giving you an error message. So you could actually Alt-Tab and see if you see anything underneath the window. There may be something blocking it. Sometimes Steam is also blocked by your Windows firewall, or LSPDFR, or even RageHook is being blocked by your firewall. So my advice is if it's not loading after 5 minutes, then go ahead and close out the game, turn off your Windows firewall. If you don't know how to do that, do a Google on how to actually turn off your Windows firewall. And you may want to also deactivate, say, the Defender if you have that, or AVG, or McAfee, or Norton. Anything like that, you want to go ahead and probably disable that and try to launch it again and see if you can get past the actual loading screen. And that's where a lot of people fail, is they can't even get into the game. But try to deactivate that stuff and see if that's what's causing it. If that doesn't work, then try to deactivate it at the beginning and then reinstall everything I showed you, and then try to launch the game that way, even into force Windows mode. That'll probably get you into the game. Okay, once you get into the game, what you want to do is we're going to go out here. Another cool thing is if you did a quick save, you'll probably have a vehicle right here. My advice also is to maybe do a quick save right next to the police station. And we're going to go ahead and go to the nearest police station. We're going to go ahead and put our map on like this. We're going to zero in. And we're going to go about right there. We're going to go to the locker room. And then you could actually go on duty right here. Now, if you decide that if you wanted to press F4 to get the Rage console, if you type in force duty now when you first install LSPDFR, if you type in just like this and you hit enter, it's going to say, you can see there it says, please go on duty at least once to select an outfit and an agency. So you can see we're still not able to get on duty yet, but once you actually get into the locker room and you go on into this little blue circle right here, it'll actually kind of want you to go onto duty. So if you press E like this and then open the locker room menu, you're going to get into a menu that looks sort of like this. And then you're going to want to go on duty for the very first time. Now, once you go on duty one time, LSPDFR will save your outfit and your character. And then you can actually pull up, you know, once you get into the game, once it loads, it'll go into sort of like the story mode, if you will. You can pull up the Rage console by F4 and then type in force duty, and you'll immediately go on duty no matter where you are in the world. So it's kind of cool. And then it'll probably load into either the apartment or next to the police station. So we're going to go ahead and go on duty real fast. And I'll probably do another video on how to actually create a character and things like that. I'm not going to spend too much time. Obviously, this is just an LSPDFR install tutorial. But I just want to point this out that you'll need to create a character first. And then once you create a character, then you can go into the game properly, and then you can do a force duty mode, and then that'll just get you straight into duty. So we're going to go ahead and end our episode right here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. Be sure to drop a like and comment down below, and subscribe if you're new. If you do comment down below and hit the like button, that does kind of help the video elevate a little bit higher on YouTube, and then more people see it. The more people see it, the more encouragement I get, you know, to create videos like this for you guys. So I greatly appreciate that, and always appreciate the patrons and the members of the BenzoFX channel. You guys are awesome for all the support throughout the years. Truly awesome. But I thank you guys so much. Stay tuned for the plugins video to come right after this. And you guys take care, and we'll see you on the next patrol. Stay safe.
Thank you for watching Benzo's YouTube channel. Be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Benzo uploads often, so stay tuned for the next episode.